Well, good evening, all. Thank you so very much for joining us for our first ever member award celebration. We are so excited to recognize the many incredible individuals that work in our member organizations. We received many nominations this year, and there are incredible stories that folks shared from within their member organizations. And so we are recognizing 9 individuals this evening, but truly this is a celebration of all of the work that's happening every day in each of your organizations. Whether or not you received an award, this is really a recognition of the collective work of LeadingAge Maryland as much as it is for each of these individuals. So thank you all for being part of this event. So in the coming weeks, we have not formally announced this to our winners yet, but in the coming weeks, winners, you will be receiving a beautifully engraved trophy. We'll be delivering them to your community. You will also be receiving a gift card so that you can celebrate with your family and loved ones, however you would like to best celebrate. And your community will be receiving funds to sponsor a party there on your campus so that you can celebrate with your team. So we will be in touch with each of our award winners in the coming week and plan to make all of those deliveries the week after Thanksgiving so that you can have a real celebration in person, however you would most like to celebrate. We're so thankful, as I noted, for our partnership with the Ceca Foundation, who's really helped bring this program to life. They set up the platform, they helped us with collecting all of the nominations. I also have to say a special thank you to Steve LaPierre, who suggested this idea. We're so glad to have 2 board members on our selection committee. So Steve Powell and Steve LaPierre were intimately involved in helping us to set up what kinds of awards we were going to give, reviewing the many nominations we received, and making the decisions on our award winners. And then a special thank you as well to Jessica Price from High, Rich Regali from Assisted Rehab, and Sarah Hemming, who also served on our selection committee this year. I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsors who you see listed here at the top of the screen. So along with the Ceca Foundation, Health Pro Heritage, RLPS Architects, Select Rehabilitation, and Wilson Construction have supported this incredible celebration. They've supported the gifts that we're giving to our award winners, and so we could not have done this without them. So thank you so very much. I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to you, Nate, to talk a bit more about the awards and what's going to happen next. Nate, I think you're muted. We'll just get that one snafu out of the way right now.
Knew that would happen at some point. But anyway, thank you, Allison. This partnership with LeadingAge Maryland has really been terrific. Normally Ceca does its work within caregiver communities, skilled nursing, senior living, even home care and hospice organizations. But this was a real opportunity for us to do it at an even bigger stage with your membership, and the stories that were submitted did not disappoint. So we received about 40 nominations this year for the member awards, and the selection committee had a pleasure of an opportunity to review each of these submissions, and an incredibly difficult task in narrowing that list down to the finalists and ultimately the winners. So we would really like to thank everyone who took the time to nominate one of your team members. Obviously, you know that these are exceptional people doing exceptional work, and they are all deserving. Everyone that was nominated, and so many behind the scenes, both clinical and non-clinical, that work in your communities. Over the next hour, you'll have the opportunity to hear about the work of many of these incredible individuals and the impact that they've had on the teams, residents they serve, and in their cities and neighborhoods. Thank you, Allison.
Thanks so much, Nate. I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Stacy Hollinger from RLPS. Stacy is here to share about our first award category. So thank you so much for being with us, Stacy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Allison. I want to talk about the Heroes in Action Award. This award recognizes individuals who face the challenges of the pandemic with grace, commitment, and innovation. They are beacons of hope and support to those around them for difficult times, consistently went above and beyond the call of duty in supporting elders, and helped ensure the success of their teams and organizations. And tonight we're recognizing 2 winners. of this year's Heroes in Action Award. The first is Marcy Hunter, Executive Director at Seabury at Springvale Terrace. And the second is Liz Horn, Director of Social Work at Carroll Lutheran Village. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you so much for that great introduction, Stacy. I am really excited first to welcome the folks who nominated Marcy Hunter. I'd like to welcome Jeffrey Dean and Kara Dooley, if you can unmute. We'd love to hear a bit from you. Hi, Kara.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi,
Hello.
Jeff.
Hey.
So great to have you with us.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I'm gonna let Jeff go first because I'm nervous and I feel emotional. So I'm gonna let him start because I think he's gonna lighten the mood and be a little more humorous. I might cry. So go ahead, Jeff. You go first.
All right. Well, thank you, Kara. I definitely feel that this award for Marcy is definitely well-deserved. I can just start from the very beginning. My journey started with Marcy in July of 2020, where I joined the Springvale community. And I have to say that it was apples and oranges compared to where I was before. We all know where we were in the pandemic at that time, and things were very touch and go. A lot of information needed to get out very quickly and very clearly. And this is where I saw Marcy really step up with leadership and with so much class, just making sure that everyone was well informed and most of all safe. I can't really say it enough, but a lot of the things that Marcy did during the beginning of the pandemic really saved lives. I mean, I can really sit here and say that I consider my life saved, just by the overall impact of what she brought to, such a down time. There were times where you often hear that pretty much where you work is kind of your family. Some people take it as cliche, but to bring that out and, to really bring about that strength and that unity between the residents and the employees there, just really brought us all together. And I am just so thankful that, I don't think I would have made it with anyone else other than her at this time. So I am definitely very thankful. Definitely cheers to you, Marcy. Like I said, you are well deserving of this award. And I definitely commend you for continuing to do great things. So thank you so much. And I will just lead this over to Carol.
Well, Jeff, you were so eloquent in how you said that about Marcy, which is all true. I don't know when this woman sleeps. She literally is on call 24/7 for not only business matters, but for personal matters with the staff. We know that we can call her at midnight if we have any kind of issue with our families or whatever, and we can't make it in or we're going to be late. And she's always there for us, which is amazing. I've known Marcy for about 20 years, I think. And this is my third position working for her in a facility. And like Jeff said, I came in June of 2020, kind of when we were all still on lockdown. And I came from a place where we were given one mask a week, and we had to keep it in a Ziploc bag at night and sign in and sign out a new mask, which was completely insane. And I knew from previous work experiences with Marcy that I knew that she would be on top of this COVID crisis. And I lost an aunt this year to COVID, my mother's twin, and it was completely rocked our family's world. And I knew that I was going to be afraid to start a new job during a pandemic. But at the same time, I knew because Marcy's Marcy. We call her Meerkat because meerkats are like feisty, controlling, feisty, controlling leader women in the meerkat world. I knew I would be safe, and I felt so comfortable going to work every day. And I knew that she was on top of all the new information. She was on top of housekeeping and sanitizing and cleaning and activities. And quite frankly, I don't think I've ever worked for anyone as smart as Marcy. I mean, I think she sleeps with the regulations on her bedside table. And I don't think she reads at night unless it's like something related to healthcare or whatever. But I just appreciate the fact that she cares so much about the residents and her team that she's always looking out for everyone. And I hope that one day she'll actually have a weekend where she can enjoy herself and take some time for herself to regroup, because honest to God, I don't know how she does it. I get the luxury of leaving at 5 or 5:30. Well, really 4:30, but don't tell her that. And she's there till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, still doing emails, talking to families, making sure that everyone's taken care of. And it's really sincere. I mean, she puts 150% of her soul and compassion towards her job every single day. And it's amazing to watch. I honestly, God, just don't know how she does it. And if I could give her an award every year, I would. So I love you, Marcy. I think you're great. And you're an amazing leader and a friend on the side. And I toast you. And I'm so, so proud for all the work that you do. And I'm so glad you're being recognized tonight. God bless.
Well, Jeffrey and Kara, thank you so much for those beautiful words. And yes, yay. We're so, so pleased to present you with this virtual award, but it will be a physical award, Marcy. And I had the great pleasure, probably one of the highlights of my year was getting to call the people who were our winners this year. And I remember, Marcy, if you're able to unmute, we'd love to hear a few words from you, but I remember I called Marcy and she had taken a couple of days off, and I was crying by the time we finished our conversation. It was just wonderful to be able to talk with her and to encourage her in that way. So Marcy, are you able to unmute and share a couple words with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, Jeff and Kara, I'm gonna kill you tomorrow, but I love you. Thank you so much. And yes, Allison, that I literally was having a pity party day and decided to actually take a day off. And I was laying on my futon in my basement, like, woe is me. And I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore, which I know everybody has had days like that. So in the middle of my pity party, Allison calls. She tells me that I was nominated, and I was like, what? She said twice, and I was like, what? And then she told me I won, and I was like, I lost it. It was just one of those moments. I was just really kind of embarrassed and kind of thrilled and happy. And but there's so many people that I look at here that are heroes. And I look at Kara, I look at Jeff, our delegating nurse, Sarah, our nurse manager, Kim, all of our CNAs and our med techs who every day walked into work not knowing what was going to happen and just trying to make things a little safer and create a bubble here is basically what we all did, and just tried to keep each other going. But I would be remiss if I did not say something about my sweet husband, who every night met me at the car with a plastic bag and Lysol as I undressed. And I'm sorry to my neighbors that they had to witness that. But it was every night, and the shower was waiting and dinner was ready. And he, did everything he could do I had great mentors, and I love Sister Irene Dunn, if anybody knows her. She schooled me well. And but most of all, I am so blessed with an amazing group of people that work here that really make all of this possible. And also to the real heroes of this pandemic, which are the residents who for months dealt with all the loneliness. And, you know, and all they saw was us, and they kept giving us encouraging words. And, you know, it's just been a really hard time, but I have to also thank Allison, who took my phone calls at any and every hour. And I'm sure some of those she was not actually working, but she took those calls and answered my crazy questions. And I'm just so thankful. And thank you for doing this. And I have no words.
Oh, well, Marcy, we are so thrilled to have been able to give you this award this year. And so glad that you could join us this evening. Cannot wait to come by with the award and give it to you in person in a couple weeks. Yes. And thank you for sharing that with us. And it sounds like you have an incredible support at home, incredible support within your organization. And thank you for the work that you did and that you continue to do.
Thank you.
I'm so excited now to hand things over to Steve Powell with Lutheran Social Ministries of Maryland. Steve is going to introduce Liz Horn, and thank you for being here, Steve.
Well, it's my pleasure, truly. I am excited this evening to be able to introduce Liz Horn as our second Heroes in Action awardee. She serves as the Director of Social Work for Lutheran Social Ministries of Maryland and its subsidiaries, Carroll Lutheran Village and the Lutheran Village at Miller's Grant. And Liz has the wonderful privilege of having been nominated by her entire team. I think this speaks very much to the respect and admiration they have for you, Liz, and perhaps more importantly, to your very person. And now I'd like to thank Angelica Burr for joining us. I think she is scheduled to be here this evening. Would you mind telling us a bit about your work with Liz and why you nominated her for this year's Heroes in Action Award? Angelica? I did not see her on the... Well, let me read a little bit from two other nominators for Liz. Kelly Snyder is a social worker and not able to join us this evening. She says, I've known Liz for the past 4 years as we have worked together at Carroll Lutheran Village. At the time, I was a fairly new social worker. Liz has taught me so much about social work, advocacy, and resident rights that I know my career in social work would be entirely different if I had not known her. Liz has taught me and so many other social workers how to best use their social work voice. I've been the recipient of that voice. I know that voice. She is passionate, caring, and always looking out for the rights of her residents and others around her. I feel blessed to have worked with Liz over the last several years and to know she is being recognized as what she truly is, a hero in action. Throughout the entire pandemic, she remained dedicated not only to our residents, but to making sure their voices were heard and continuing to promote self-determination and resident rights. And that was Kelly Snyder. She works in our skilled nursing center. Brooke Masamore, are you able to be with us this evening?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Oh,
and
terrific,
I apologize.
No apologies. Please share a little bit about Liz and how you came to nominate her.
So I started off as an intern at Carroll Lutheran Village, and Liz taught me so much. And then I was blessed with being offered an opportunity to work at Carroll Lutheran. And it's honestly just been a blessing, you know, to work under Liz. She is such a wonderful mentor. I have learned so much from her. and she is truly a hero in action. She is really devoted to her residents, and I would say, you know, to the staff members and especially the social work team. All of the residents, they just speak so highly of her. They look to her for assistance. And I will tell you, many of them, every time I talk to them, they will say, Liz is my go-to person at Carroll Lutheran. She walks into many difficult situations, but with nothing but a caring and strong nature. Even on her days off, I will say she would drop everything to come in and help a resident, to help one of the staff members. She's even popped in my office on days off just to say, are you doing okay? Or she'll call. She's just an amazing advocate and somebody we're just all truly blessed to have on our team. So I wanted to say thank you, Liz. Thank you so much for all you do. You are just so deserving of this award.
Terrific. Thank you, Brooke. I don't know if Angelica has had time to join us yet. And even though she wasn't able to join us, I want to thank all three of you, Brooke, Angelica, and Kelly, for the sincerity of your nominations. It spoke to us on the committee, which had a very challenging job. And Liz, I want to congratulate you on this award. Your staff and their remarks truly speak to the values and actions you bring to the workplace every day. And the support of your staff is something to which we can all aspire. Liz, as Brooke shared, not only cared for her staff and her residents, but she really took time to be aware of all of us who work at the village and to ensure that we were all buoyed through the COVID pandemic. And so, Liz, I'd love to hear share an opportunity for you to speak about what it's been like in your role over the last year and a half with COVID, and share a little bit of your thoughts on receiving the award.
Thank you, Steve. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And thank you to Kelly and Brooke and to Angelica. My goodness, I was so floored by this and so appreciative. It was a tough time, as all of you know, through COVID. And I think we all got anxious and thought maybe we're not going to be able to do this. But, you know, social workers are really wonderful at helping people deal with things that aren't the way they'd like them to be. We are really good at that. That's one of the things that I think we do. And the message to the team was, you're actually needed more than ever. And getting to work was just helped us see that. The residents needed us, the families needed us, and our team members needed us. And I felt really good about these guys. They all rose to the occasion, and I'm very thankful for all of them. I'm thankful for the rest of the staff. We have a wonderful team, you know, to work with alongside of people who share your sense of quality care, who share your sense of resident rights and safety for everyone is so important. And thankful also for all of the leadership of LSMMD, of Carroll Lutheran Village, and Lutheran Village at Miller's Grant for recognizing the value that social workers bring to the team, and for having 6 social workers. We are the most fortunate people to have amongst our 2 communities 6 social workers. And I feel like we are able to give very good service to all of our residents and all of our team members and their families. So thank you very much to all the social workers, and thank you to LeadingAge, and congratulations, Marcy. Very impressed with all that you have done during the pandemic, and thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Steve, for walking us through that. And it was fantastic to hear words from your colleagues, Liz, and so wonderful to honor you both, Marcy and Liz, with these awards tonight. So thank you so very much. Next, we are going to move on to our Excellence in Innovation Award category. I am going to hand things over to Latifa Coleman from Select Rehab, who's going to introduce the award and the winners. And then she's going to hand things off to Steve LaPierre, who's going to introduce us to our first award winner. in that category tonight. So Latifa, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you to LeadingAge Maryland, and thank you, Allison, for allowing Select to participate. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce the Award for Excellence and Innovation. This award recognizes programs or services from a community or organization which go above and beyond the normal operations and enhance the field of aging services. This includes programs, services, or initiatives that demonstrate unusual creativity and out-of-the-box thinking to overcome challenges, improving a process, a program, or an entire organization. It's my honor to introduce the two winners of this category this year: Bernadette Alderson, the Enrichment Coordinator at ACTS Bayleigh Chase, and Colleen Kemp, Director of Social Adult Day Programs for Memory Care at Jewish Council for the Aging. And I'll turn it over to Steve to introduce the folks to speak about Bernadette.
Thank you very much, Latifa, and good evening, everybody, and congratulations to all the recipients this evening of these first ever provider awards through LeadingAge Maryland. It's such a delight to honor you and to hear from you and hear your stories. I couldn't be more delighted to introduce to you the Executive Director, George Clements from Bayleigh Chase, and his team, as we are so excited that they nominated Bernadette for this Excellence in Innovation Award. George, I'm going to turn it over to you and your team to tell us a little bit about this.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you, LeadingAge, for putting these awards together. I can't think of anything much more important than recognizing the great things that all of the workers do in our state and in our communities. But I'm so happy to work with Bernadette. And by the way, we have I'm with a whole host of her team right here, and we're celebrating together. And Bernadette will be the first one to say that she's part of a team, but she's really the spark, I would say, that's helped spark this team into creativity. And you were talking about, Latifa was talking about out of the box thinking, and that's really what comes to mind for Bernadette and her team. So when we were locked down in the COVID year last year, like so many of us, Bernadette and her team really thought about how are we going to make, what are we going to do for our residents? How do we get more engagement in this situation? And they really got creative. So they started doing virtual trips around the country. They went to Disney World and they took virtual rides, and they had snacks from Disney World. They went to Las Vegas, and they had a slot machine here, and they watched the Celine Dion concert and did things like that. And then they went to Paris and they took it international. And residents kept a scrapbook for all their travels. And there was one resident, I think, who on the Hawaii trip said, "I'm having more fun on this trip than I did when I really went there with my family." So they really had a great time. They did everything they could to keep residents engaged. There was food, there was decorations, there was technology, there was so much. So, and another amazing thing about Bernadette is she has a personal mission statement, which I think she's going to talk about a little bit. But like, who has a personal mission statement? Someone who is so dedicated and so creative like Bernadette. So Bernadette, thank you so much for all that you've done for our residents. Proud of you, and congratulations.
That is fantastic. Thank you, George. What wonderful ideas and an exciting way to, if it is an exciting thing you can do during a pandemic. It sounds like you identified it. We love to hear, Bernadette, we'd love to hear from you, and where you get this energy and this insightfulness.
Well, I want to thank George for nominating me and LeadingAge for this award. It comes from the people that are here. I bounce ideas off of them, and we just start brainstorming. But with this past year, with COVID still lurking around, we had to still continue to modify our activities. And we continued with our virtual traveling. We went back to Hawaii. But I realized there were some milestones and some events that we were missing, and staff was missing, and residents were missing. So while we were in Hawaii, we decided it was a beautiful place for a wedding. So we sent out invitations. The residents planned music and how the wedding was going to be. We even had residents that were the best man and the maid of honor. Our dining staff did beautiful cupcake wedding cakes. And on June 23rd, 2021, George and Gracie were married, and the parakeets are living in wedding bliss. They're lovebirds. So we had to find some other ways that the residents were missing. And so we went ahead and we did some spring bazaar shopping, allowing them to use these bingo bucks that they would get. So we let them come shopping. We just recently did a yard sale. We will be having a Christmas bazaar, but it gives them the opportunity to come shopping, make their Christmas list, and we actually will turn and do like a cafe of a food court, and we do it in small groups, and they'll get their presents will all be wrapped, and so it feels like they've been Christmas shopping, even though they can't do that. But we had to realize that even the small things that these residents, enjoy, bingo was one. We had to come up with a new way for bingo, to play bingo, and just being able to socialize with their neighbor. And there were times where it just meant, getting them to their doorway so they could see each other. So the little things that we realized really, really mattered. And we, sometimes we take them for granted. So with this wonderful staff here, we tried to find ways to bring laughter into our building and to bring the sunshine back in our difficult times. So, again, I want to thank George. I want to thank LeadingAge for this award. And I am honored to receive it, but I feel that it's my innovation and everything was achieved from everybody here tonight at Bayleigh Chase, because they took, like I said, my suggestions, my ideas. We even bounced off everybody's different ideas. And I'm hoping that the pandemic that we're going through moves on and it is behind us. But we will continue, my group and I will continue to come up with some more innovative ideas to enrich the residents that live here and to be the rainbow during their storm.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bernadette. That is terrific. Now, George mentioned a little something about a personal mission statement. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I was told to write a mission statement a while back. And so I said my mission statement is to provide various particular activities that appeal to the residents, to help residents achieve their greatest physical, social, and emotional well-being, to enhance a resident's quality of life with dignity and respect, while expanding on their individual talents, in a phrase, to be someone's rainbow.
Amen. That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And congratulations once again. Thank you. Allison.
Yes, thank you so much. Incredible. It's wonderful to see you all there at Bayleigh Chase. Thank you so much for the work that you do, Bernadette, and the whole team there. And I saw some of the comments in the chat. The work that recreation and engagement professionals did during the pandemic was so incredibly creative and just amazing. And you truly helped residents continue to experience joy every day. So thank you for that. We are going to move on next to our next award winner, Colleen Kemp, who is the Director of Social Adult Day Programs for Memory Care at the Jewish Council for the Aging. And I'm so excited to welcome today Suzanne, who works with Colleen at JCA and who nominated her for this award. Suzanne, I would love to hear a bit about your work with Colleen and what prompted you to nominate her for the award this year.
Thank you. Unlike the other organizations, we're not a place where people stay, they just come stop in. So the Jewish Council for the Aging of Greater Washington, we have many programs. This specific one that Colleen runs, our goal is to try and keep people in their homes as long as possible and still not feel isolated or unhappy. The Gorlitz Kensington clubs, which Colleen Kemp runs, with such love and incredible care for each single member, are social day programs for those with early stage dementia diagnosis who can still function independently. Before COVID hit, we operated these programs at 3 separate sites and served 40 people who attended anywhere from 2 to 5 days each week. But when the world shut down in March, Colleen and her staff, many of whom are on this call right now, she worried that her beloved club members would deteriorate due to isolation and a lack of stimulation our programs offered through arts, current events, exercise, speakers, and even going out on trips. Without connections, would our members, some who live alone, forget us and the world around them? So while the rest of the world immediately took to Zoom programs, we realized our members had little idea how to use any virtual program, even email and FaceTime. So Colleen and her staff patiently guided each member until they became comfortable with Zoom. Meanwhile, she set up a phone pal program so that each member received a warm telephone call at least twice a week. Soon she was able to use Zoom, offering many of the same in-person programs the members became used to, more than once a day even. I will now let Colleen, whom I admire greatly, tell you a little bit more.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Colleen, are you on with us? We would love to hear a bit from you.
Yes, I'm on. Thank you, Suzanne, and for the nomination, and to JCA, who employs me and supported all of our programs, and to LeadingAge Maryland for the award. It feels so right to accept this award, but for the whole JCA Kensington Club team, which consists of my highly creative and dedicated activity leaders, our contractors, our partners, and the most incredible caring volunteers I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Everyone contributed. I also want to thank my husband and my kids who kept me going at home during such a crazy time. Kensington Club at Home was a lot of hard work and long hours that got put directly into delivering what I still feel are the best virtual adult day services for older adults with memory loss during the height of the global pandemic. But the jewel in the crown is that I can accept this award tonight here and then actually return to Kensington Club on Thursday to share the award with everyone and at JCA in person after being apart for so long. I think my role as a director of a social adult day program changed the day that Governor Hogan closed all of our adult day programs in March 2020. Public health guidelines recommended that older adults limit their in-person social interactions. And while that was effective in decreasing exposure to disease, I knew that it would quickly contribute to social isolation and loneliness for the person living with early stage dementia and all of their caregivers. So the question was, how could I create a new and engaging dementia-friendly virtual community when the digital divide, like Suzanne said, was suddenly so real to us? We launched Kensington Club at Home on March 26th. I knew we needed to offer programs at least 6 days a week. And what I knew was 10 quality minutes could make a huge difference in the life of an older adult living at home and the person who was caring for them. 10-minute phone calls, 10-minute segments for our team-created YouTube videos that I hoped would elicit joy, remembrance, movement, purpose, and connection. So that month we created the Phone Pals, caregiver coping virtual support group, and a newsletter. In April, we launched our Casey on Screen YouTube videos. We mailed monthly activity packets. And by June, our caregivers and members were ready to try Zoom. Now keep in mind, our members had not seen each other face-to-face for over 8 weeks. But when everyone appeared on screen on Zoom for the very first time, it was if we had never closed the program. They were calling out each other by name and waving to each other. And so we knew that social connection had not been lost as we had feared. That summer, 6 new members joined the virtual program. So since then, 2,633 friendly calls have been made. 42 YouTube videos have been created, and over 500 Zoom groups have been offered. So in July 2021, we reopened our club 2 days a week, but we are committed to keeping the virtual program running to continue serving individuals with memory loss and their caregivers in their home and in person. Thank you so much.
Colleen, thank you so very much for the incredible work that you have done and that your team has done and that the entire JCA community continues to do each day. And I love this opportunity to hear about the incredible diversity within our membership. We're hearing about folks who are providing services to individuals living on a campus, to providing services in individuals' homes. And it's just so incredible to hear about the creative ways that you helped keep people connected. So thank you so much for that. We're so glad to have you with us. I am going to go ahead and we'll move on to our next category, Excellence in Leadership. And here with us to introduce this category and our award winners is David Mercugliano with Health Pro Heritage. David, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Allison. I am David Mercugliano, Senior Vice President for Strategic Partnerships with Health Pro Heritage. First and foremost, my thanks to you, Allison, and to your team for LeadingAge Maryland for making this event happen, and to recognize the really impressive, wonderful, creative servant leaders we've been hearing about this evening. It's wonderful to hear their nominations. It's even greater to hear what they have to say. Pretty motivating for all of us. Health Pro Heritage has stood by our industry and supported providers across the continuum with education, clinical and strategic resources as our teams of heroes have worked alongside of one another throughout the challenges of the last 18 months. And we're excited to move forward to redesign tomorrow together with all of you as we look to implement and operationalize the new approaches to health and wellness, which have been spurred on by the pandemic. And so I'm really pleased to be able to introduce this year's 2 Excellence in Leadership Award recipients. This award recognizes to embracing diversity, to promoting mentoring and collaborations, and to helping advance the field of aging services, and to embody the values and missions of their organizations. Perhaps this year, these awards are particularly notable, given that these recipients have held true to these values despite the challenges of this particular time in our history. Please join me in congratulating the winners of this year's Excellence in Leadership Award, Ann Patterson, Vice President of Health Services at Broadmead, and Dr. Eric Bush, Chief Medical Officer, Hospice of the Chesapeake. We're going to hear more about them now.
Thank you so much, David, and congratulations to Dr. Eric Bush and to Ann Patterson. We're going to start with learning a bit more about Dr. Eric Bush and his work. And so here this evening, I believe we have Mike Brady and Sandra Dillon of Hospice of the Chesapeake. And I just want to make a quick note about time. I realize that we may run just a bit over, so I hope folks will stick with us. And I appreciate everyone as much as is possible trying to keep our remarks concise and so that we can hear from everyone this evening. It's incredible hearing these stories, and I wish we could go on for 5 hours. So I just am so excited to have Mike and Sandra with us this evening. Can you tell us a bit more about Dr. Bush and his work at Hospice of the Chesapeake?
Thank you very much, Allison, and congratulations to all the winners this evening. I've had the honor of serving with Dr. Eric Bush at Hospice of the Chesapeake since 2017. And in my tenure of working with Eric, I've never experienced somebody who has more compassion than he has. At every turn, I've watched as Dr. Bush puts the needs of all the patients and the families first. And he's always been able to meet the patients and the families where they are on this end of life journey. Eric has had the same level of compassion and leadership towards his staff, where he oversees numerous nurse practitioners and treats them with the same commitment, the same leadership that he shows those patients every single day. And as hard as it is to talk about hospice or supportive care, Eric has shared his expertise with grace to each of the patients and the families as he serves. And as somebody, as myself, who does not have this skill set, it's incredibly impressive to watch. In addition to serving the hospice community of Anne Arundel, Prince George's, and Charles County, Dr. Bush has started a very successful supportive care program, and some of you may refer to this as palliative care, which serves over 1,100 patients in the communities that we serve. This program did receive Joint Commission's Gold Seal of Approval in 2020, and that was during the pandemic he received that. And this was the first program, and it's been the only program with this recognition in Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia region. In addition to his hospice and supportive care work, he also takes time to shoot videos, and Eric has recorded more than 30 educational videos, including the video of 5 things you should know when someone is actively dying, which was produced in March of 2021. And as of just a few weeks ago, had over 595,000 YouTube views by families throughout the world. And that's to really better understand what people may expect at the end of someone's life. Tough work, but Dr. Bush has an incredible amount, again, of grace through all of this. That, and Eric, you're a great family man. So Eric, on a very personal level, I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your excellence, and I want to thank you for your friendship. You're a good man, and I am proud to serve alongside you. So thank you, Eric, and congratulations this evening on receiving the Excellence in Leadership Award. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for those kind words. And, you know, Mike and I have had separate journeys to where we are, but actually we grew up not far from each other too. So just shows it truly is a small world. Number one, thanks to God. Thanks for my family for understanding, especially what's transpired over these last almost 2 years with COVID. And between those two, God's daily guidance and keeping mentally and psychologically agile with 3 teenagers. Notice I said agile, not labile. But seriously, I'm very grateful for this award. My thanks to Alderson, LeadingAge, their recognition and mission, and always advocating for helping older adults maximize their independence, supporting the needs of professional and family caregivers, and improving quality of care and quality of life. My thanks to our board at Hospice of Chesapeake and Chesapeake Supportive Care, and to my colleagues for sincerely demonstrating courage and resiliency during these challenging times. A special shout out to our team at the Rebecca Fortney Patient Care Center, our Doves facilities team, and our Chesapeake Supportive Care crew. And to Mike and Sandy for the recognition and nomination. Thanks to my mentors for providing me wisdom and guidance to helping me serve those in need. To my patients and families, from whom I learn every day about the strength of love and caring. And I hope they feel the support that we try to provide. My hope is one day we will look back at this time and recognize it as the catalyst for change in how we view and deliver healthcare in this country. We need to continue to address the chasms that exist in care inequities and access. We need to unite and address those divisions that still exist domestically and globally. Each day we should all keep in mind the words of the famous poet Gwendolyn Brooks: we are each other's harvest, we are each other's business, we are each other's magnitude and bond. Much gratitude. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Bush. We were so pleased to present you with the award this year, and I can't wait to see you in person to hand you the physical award. Thank you for the work that you do. It's tremendously challenging under normal circumstances, and I know over the pandemic has been even more challenging, and the amount of comfort that I'm sure your words and the words of everyone on your team and the care that's provided to families and patients just made the difference for them and how they experienced life and how they experienced death. So thank you so very much for all the work that you do.
Thank you. And thanks so much for your collaboration, everybody here tonight. It really is a team sport, all the work that we all do in aggregate. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm so pleased to introduce Stacy Young and Robin Summers, who are going to tell us a bit about Ann Patterson, and so incredibly excited to be awarding Ann Patterson the Excellence in Leadership Award this year as well. One of the things that really stood out to our selection committee, I'll just note, is that Anne nominated people on her team for awards. And that really stood out to us. Anne is a true servant leader, and I'm sure you're going to hear that from Stacy and Robin. So I'll hand things over to them. They can say this much better than I ever could. So Stacy and Robin, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Allison. So I know what Anne's going to say. She's going to say that it's about team. It's not about her. I know she's going to say that. But what I would say is that we are not a team without our anchor, which is Anne. I just can't think of anybody who would deserve this award more than she does. Every single day, she is serving both the staff and the residents. She pushes us to be our very best, but at the same time has the faith in us to recognize that we can fly and we can do great things. She lets us kind of be creative. She lets us take risks, especially during COVID. We wouldn't have gotten through COVID if it wasn't for Anne. She's going to tell you that's not true, but I'm going to tell you it is. Somebody said earlier that they felt like they could go to work and trust in their leaders, that they knew that they were safe. And I would say that that was the case for us. We knew that Anne was always looking out for our best interest, the best interest of the residents. She pushed the envelope to make sure that they had everything they needed, while also making sure that we held the strictest restrictions to make sure that they were safe. And I think that's a delicate balance, that a servant leader, someone who is actively living and breathing in that world and not just working from a desk, dictating to others. Truly, if you go in at 7 a.m., you'll find Anne in resident rooms, greeting them, finding out how their night was, helping give their breakfast trays and setting it up nicely for them. All the way up to, if you go in late at night, you'll find her with that person who's up watching TV and enjoying the evening hours and making sure that they're okay. And then similar to that with staff, Anne is always looking out for staff, helping staff to grow. I know the one thing that stood out to me was talking about diversity and inclusion and just growing, programs. That is Anne, whether it's bringing in new interns or figuring out how we do the next best thing, driving our mission forward all the time. I gave Anne an anchor bracelet last year, and I just think that, again, that anchor is just truly who she is. I can't say enough about what Anne means to us and what she certainly means to me as my leader. I'm going to turn it over to Robin to say a little bit more. Congratulations, Anne.
Well, first I want to congratulate all the awardees tonight, and listening to your stories is just heartwarming and takes us all into that place where we've been this past 18 months. And thank you, Allison and Sarah, for allowing us to recognize some very special people tonight. Stacy did a wonderful job sort of articulating the role that Ann Patterson took for us at Broadmead. I often refer to her as our own Dr. Fauci. She, from day one, was educated herself. She was sorting through emails and regulations and phone calls and surveys, and it was an incredible, overwhelming task that she did with her usual sense of calmness, integrity, and first and foremost, her care and compassion for our residents and their families. She was so touched by the sense of isolation and loneliness that our residents were experiencing during the lockdown, and just not only reassured residents and their families and our staff, but really took Broadmead into a place where she was able to, from what we were doing and incorporating at Broadmead, able to reach out to colleagues in the senior living arena and offer her support and her wonderful ideas and her leadership to them as well. So there was, I don't know how she did it. It's still a mystery. I echo what Stacy said. She's there early in the morning. She's there late at night. She worked every weekend, was reporting on Chris every Saturday and Sunday. And on top of all of that, continued to nurture her own family. And I am so very proud of you. And I'm so extremely grateful. Words will never express my gratitude for what you did to get the Broadmead community through this pandemic with little to no cases, and You're a dear friend. You are an incredible leader. And I thank you. And I'm so glad that we were able to recognize you this evening. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, Stacy and Robin, so very much. Anne, are you able to unmute? I would love to hear a few words from you. And I just have to say that very early on in my career, I've known Anne for some time, and I shadowed her for a day when she was an administrator at Fairhaven. And I was incredibly blown away by her then. And I can only imagine seeing her in action during a pandemic. She truly is an incredible, incredible professional administrator, mom, grandmother, all of those things. So, Anne, thank you for being with us this evening.
My goodness. First of all, Stacy and Robin, gosh, I just love you guys. Thank you so much for just thinking of me that way, you know, and Allison, I nominated people on my team because, as Stacy said, you know, as leaders, we're just a reflection of the people we serve. And I see my team as my first obligation. Like, I serve them. They are, without them, I'm really, truly nothing. And while we had, you know, the pandemic left us all forever, just changed. I mean, there isn't anybody that wasn't touched by it. But I think as like healthcare providers, there were days when, I don't know about you, but driving to work, driving down the road, I felt like there was nobody out there. I felt like I didn't see other people. There were no cars. But you know what? And I think Liz Horn alluded to this too. You know, we showed up every day. We went in and we became the families of these residents, and they did cheer us on and they did keep us happy. And it was this wonderful relationship, and sometimes really hard days to say goodbye to the people that we lost during the pandemic. I mean, there were really bad days, but you know what? In the glimpse of all of that, there was this beautiful side of just people that pulled together, that showed up, that their attitude was always, where do you need me? Send me, I'll go. And you know what? Together we did get it done. So I am just merely a reflection of the wonderful Broadmead team. I love my job. I say it all the time. And, you know, people like, you know, Garrett, since I've been an administrator, I've always admired your work. I wish you the best in retirement. And how nice to spend the evening with a group of professionals all committed to the field of aging. I do hope we come out far better on the other side of the pandemic when it comes to resident rights. You know, I hear Liz Horn in my head. You know, that is, if we did anything during the pandemic, perhaps we were a little too regulated. We could have maybe lightened it up a little bit. But through this, we've just, no doubt, together we are better. And I am just honored to be with everybody this evening. And Stacy, Robin, Allison, the committee, just thank you so much. I'm truly humbled by your kindness. Thank you.
Well, it's so well-deserved, Anne. So wonderful to see you, and thank you so much for the work that you continue to do every day. So glad to have named our Lifetime Achievement Award after our founding president and CEO. And this award recognizes individuals who have demonstrated an exceptional commitment to building and promoting a sense of community, embracing diversity, promoting mentoring and collaborations, helping advance the field of aging services, and embodying the values and mission of their organization. So we'll be choosing one award winner for this award, and Jill is here to help us get to know our Lifetime Achievement Award winner. For those of us who might not already know him, Jill, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, and it is wonderful to see so many familiar faces. Well, the first Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Garrett Falcone, and it's certainly an honor to present this award to him. Garrett has retired recently after 46 years in healthcare, and I've known Garrett for a long time, maybe not 46 years, but close. Each time I visited Garrett at Heron Point, where he served as the executive director, it was clear that he knew everyone, staff members, residents, and family members, and he greeted every person by name and stopped and had conversation. People, I think, have been at the heart of Garrett's entire career. He's worked in respiratory therapy and hospital administration, but he has an especially great love for older adults, especially the wonderful stories they share that illuminate history. And history is another one of Garrett's loves. With his grand sense of humor, he makes working through the challenges of running a life plan community look easy and fun. You'll hear more about him in a moment, but his tireless and very successful efforts to retain a hospital in Chestertown will be a lasting legacy, as will the many, many leaders he's recruited and mentored over the years. He's always been active in advancing the entire field of aging and in advocating for sound public policy. Garrett, it has been a delight to know you, and you have certainly earned this Lifetime Achievement Award. We'd like to hear from you.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill. First of all, I want to say thank you to LeadingAge and to Jill and to Allison and everybody, and Kim from Heron Point, and Steve, of course, our regional director for ACTS. It's a wonderful honor, and believe me, it's most appreciated. I have to say, though, I can think of a lot of other dedicated LeadingAge members over the years that are probably much more deserving than I am. Dick Riker, Terry Schneider, Rich Lenahan, just to name a few. There's just so many out there. But that said, I do appreciate this honor, and I'm truly thankful. What I'll miss at Heron Point is the people, you know, the residents and the staff. They're our families for all of us. You know that. You adopt them, you love them, and they'll always be family. I've had a great 46-year career in healthcare, supported all those years by my wonderful wife, Pat, and the family, of course. Retiring this year has been wonderful, especially after all we went through with COVID, and you all are still going through it right now in your communities. Thank you for your work. The end must be in sight someday. When I first got involved with long-term care in 1984, it was called the AHA, the American Association of Homes for the Aging. And right away, I fell in love with this field that respected and catered to seniors. Maybe because I'm a history buff or I loved grandpa, I don't know why, but I just right away connected with senior care. I was overjoyed 10 years later when I was appointed to ASA's House of Delegates for a number of years. And as you know, working with seniors is a treasure. And then working with the people that work in senior care has also been a wonderful blessing. You and your teams out there right here now are those dedicated, devoted heroes. You're all those heroes. Thank you for what you do every day. In closing, and I know this year during COVID in the last year and a half, LeadingAge and the other associations worked together to fight COVID, and that's fabulous. However, I have to say for the field, if we want to get the power to get things done, to get the reimbursement we need to make improvements happen, staffing, equipment, et cetera, we need to seriously consider being like the Hospital Association or the American Medical Association that have one voice. Unification Long-Term Care Services Associations, I believe, is the only way we can exert the power that we need to get things done. Thank you. God bless you all, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
And I'd like to loop back to Kimberly Cox and to Stephen LaPierre to say a little bit about why they nominated Garrett for this award.
Thank you, Jill. We have the new executive director who stepped into to Garrett's role at Heron Point, Catherine LeClaire, with us, and Kimberly Cox, the life engagement coordinator, who has worked almost all the years that Garrett was at Heron Point. Kimberly Cox was there. It was a team nomination, but I'd like to look to Kimberly and Catherine for comments.
Good evening, everyone. At Heron Point, we just felt like Garrett, after serving 146 years in senior care, he kind of deserved this award. But he's like the norm, and from Cheers, where everybody knows his name. I've been with him to a couple of conferences, and you know, it's like Garrett, and they run around him like he's a rock star. And I'm like, you're talking Garrett Falcone? I don't see this. But as I got to work with him, I loved that he advocated so much for his passion. And I really do believe that this career chose him. He's the right fit for this. He's very dedicated. He's always encouraging young people to look into getting to the field of working with older citizens. And he always tells us, if it happened in the last 100 years, residents were involved. So get to know your residents. We're just blessed to have worked with them for many, many years. He still continues to email and text and pop by every once in a while. I don't think he's ever going to leave us. So he's a character for sure for all those who know him. And We're blessed to have him serve with us. So thank you, Garrett, for everything you've done for the Marylanders and seniors in particular.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim. Catherine, are you still with us?
I am still here. Yes.
Yeah. You came into the whirlwind there.
I did, and you know, I appreciate Garrett and all of his leadership that what he's done at Heron Point, being there for the 9 years, and you know, and I knew that I was stepping into Garrett's shoes. I was very much like, no, I cannot fill Garrett's shoes. That is not possible, because Garrett is his own being and his own leadership, and he did such a phenomenal job throughout everything, including everything that happened to COVID. So I, you know, made the dedication to Heron Point to say, I'm going to just be the best me. Not, you know, I can't be Garrett, because there is no other Garrett Falcone. But, you know, congratulations, Garrett. I'm so excited for you. Well deserved. You are just a wonderful leader here for the community, for Maryland. You have really set the bar high for all of us. So congratulations.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. And I would echo some of what Jill had said. You've spent many, many years, long before you came to Maryland and Heron Point, or Maryland and Erickson even, in this serving seniors. And you have had no lack of energy in any time I've ever observed you in action. And you don't easily take no for an answer, which has really served you well, especially the community there in Kent County, in keeping the hospital where it is. That has been a battle you've been fighting for a number of years. And now I believe you're on the board of that hospital and they're staying open. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Jill.
So we are delighted to have you be the inaugural winner of the Jill Schumann Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations, Garrett. Hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to Allison.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jill, for being here. Thank you, Garrett and Stephen, Kim, and Catherine for sharing with us this evening. We are a bit over time. Thank you to those who are with us and sticking with us. I am going to hand things over to Nate to introduce our next award.
Wonderful. Well, you know, each story of each person here as we go along is just, I can't think it gets any better, and it does. And so I'm really excited about the Carroll Palmer Excellence in Care and Service Award, which recognizes individuals who have demonstrated exceptional proficiency in the delivery of quality services to LeadingAge members. Allison?
Thank you so much, Nate. So we purposefully moved this category to the end of our celebration this evening. This is an especially special recognition this evening. I know we have many folks on who knew Carroll Palmer, and we have some folks who are going to say a few words about her. But before I hand things over to her team and to her two sisters who are here with us this evening, I just wanted to say it's not often that we get the chance to know someone who forever leaves an impression on our lives. And we're so pleased to be honoring one such individual with the Excellence in Care and Service Award. And we are also naming the award here on out, the Carroll Palmer Excellence in Care and Service Award. Carroll Palmer passed away unexpectedly on August 15th of this year at age 50. She was loved by many and had given so much of herself throughout her 16 years at Catholic Charities. She served multiple departments throughout her tenure, as conveyed by Bill McCarthy, the Executive Director of Catholic Charities of Baltimore. He said, Carroll was a ready right hand to the senior communities leadership team and a gracious guide for colleagues across our 24 locations. She either had the answer or would get it for you with a smile. Carroll touched and helped to grow us all in so many ways, bringing simple joy to whomever she encountered. She always had an encouraging word for those who suffered challenges, even in the face of her own great losses. In the words of her colleagues, Carroll was exceptional and always present with both her coworkers and with residents. In her honor, we have renamed this award to the Carroll Palmer Excellence in Care and Service Award. Each year, we will honor a new individual while also commemorating the life and legacy Carroll has left behind. I'm so excited this evening to have with us Mary Choplick. Mary, thank you for being with us to talk a bit about your incredible friend and colleague, Carroll.
Thanks, Allison. We appreciate it. Just a few words about Carroll, and then I'll turn it back over to you and to her sisters. But Carroll was selfless and certainly deserving of this award. I often think, I wish she would have lived long enough to realize the impact she had on others. But the truth is, she could have lived to be 100 and she would have never realized the impact. She was a humble soul who today would say, my job is to help people, whomever with whatever. No matter how simple or how complex, she showed up every day to lessen the workload of others, and as she would say, to make everyone's day a little easier. She shared herself and all enjoyed her weekly emails with pictures of her fur babies, and of course, an inspiring quote or two. And in turn, she enjoyed getting to know the fur babies and families of her colleagues. Carol and I worked in close proximity for some time. I would hear her on the phone multiple times daily with our site teams, never knowing who she was talking to, but always admiring the very different professional relationship she had with each person. One thing is for sure, we will miss her forever. Allison Catholic Charities thanks you and LeadingAge Maryland for recognizing Carol and renaming the award in her name. We promise to honor her memory and legacy in all that we do, to work with humility and to help whomever with whatever, as she did each day. To Carol's family, we wish you well. Thanks everybody and have a good evening.
Mary, thank you so much for sharing those words with us. And I can tell from just the conversations that I've had with you and Valerie and others who knew Carol well, what an incredible individual she was. And she truly is leaving behind a legacy. And we are so excited that we are able to commemorate her each year. I wanted to introduce Carol's two sisters, Dawn and Laura, who are with us this evening. Dawn and Laura, we know that Catholic Charities is so incredibly grateful for the 16 years they were able to have with Carol as part of their team. We would love to just hear a few words from you and anything else that, that you'd like to share about your sister. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I'm Laura. It's a little emotional. First off, I just wanted to say before I start about Carol, it's been an honor to be on the call tonight and just hear about all the amazing, inspirational people that are a part of the organization. On behalf of myself and my sister Dawn, who isn't big on being in the center of attention, so I'm gonna, I think, speak for both of us. And I'd like to speak for our families. It's a privilege and an honor to accept this award for my sister Carol. I can't express how incredibly proud not only Dawn and I are of Carol, but also of how proud our parents and her late husband, Ben, would have been to see Carol receiving this Excellence in Care and Service Award. Carol would be absolutely thrilled tonight, although honestly, she wouldn't probably believe it. And as Mary pointed out, she was so humble, and I don't really think she grasped how much she was valued and appreciated and how much she contributed to Catholic Charities. As some of you may know, Carol loved her husband, Ben, her fur babies, as Mary mentioned, all things weather related, Marvel movies, but she also truly 100% loved her work at Catholic Charities. And she would light up anytime she talked to me about her work and the residents and all of her coworkers. And I know for a fact that she thought of her coworkers truly as family, and she felt blessed to be working with such an amazing group of people. I literally, just the week before she passed, I had had a conversation with her about her future, and I had asked her, what did she see as far as a timeline for when she thought she might want to retire? And without skipping a beat, she said that she didn't ever want to retire because she loved her work so much. We can't thank enough everyone from Catholic Charities who reached out to us after Carol's passing. It was amazing, day after day, getting cards from everyone and reading how beloved Carol was at Catholic Charities and hearing about her work life. Time and time again, we heard about how she had a special light that shone from within and how she was the heart, and soul of the agency. And how her legacy will be in the love and support she gave on a daily basis to the residents and the vendors and the co-workers and even the strangers that she encountered. Of course, we also heard about her famously well-stocked candy jar and how she always had a smile for everyone. She was always there to take care of any problems at work, and she made a difference in their lives with her positive energy. Even those who only knew her through her emails or her phone commented about how they could just tell her goodness and kindness and her heart. And we always knew, in our family, what a special person she was, but it was just amazing to see her through your eyes. And, with Thanksgiving coming up next week, it's a really good time to think about gratitude. And Dawn and I are so grateful for everyone at Catholic Charities. And thank you also for honoring her with her memory tonight. And by renaming the award to the Carol Palm Legacy Award for Excellence in Care and Service, her spirit will surely carry on. Thank you so much.
Laura, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's truly been a gift to have you with us, to have Mary with us, to have Dawn with us. And I know it's, I'm sure, not easy to talk about all of this. And we appreciate you sharing these stories, these words about Carol with us.
It's my pleasure.
It's an honor to have you with us.
Thank you.
We are so glad to have been able to give this award to Carol, and Laura and Dawn. I'll be coordinating with you a time so that I can meet you in person and deliver the actual physical award. And we hope that is a remembrance that will be a support in you all remembering the incredible work that she did with Catholic Charities and throughout her career. And Mary, thank you so much for sharing. And tears are welcomed. Sometimes tears are often tears are a part of the most wonderful parts of life. And remembering Carol has been such a blessing for us this evening. So thank you, Laura and Mary and Dawn, for being here, and everyone who knew Carol. I know there's others on with us tonight that knew Carol and worked with her. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
What's that, Laura?
I just said thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm not sure how to move on from that to kind of an eloquent closing, other than this evening has, as I knew it would be, it's a reminder of why we do the work that we do. And it reminds us of the importance and the calling in helping older adults age well and creating a future where we can all age meaningfully in ways that are important to us. And so thank you all for taking part in this inaugural celebration. Next year, we are planning to have this event in person next fall, and hope that folks will be able to join us there. And we're so thankful to all of our members for the work that you do, to our 9 award winners, and to the many folks who nominated, and the folks who, as Nate mentioned at the beginning, we had about 40 nominations. We'll be releasing publicly the names of all of the folks who were nominated, because this was an incredibly challenging decision for our committee to make, as I think you heard as we went through. So we want to publicly recognize and celebrate everyone who was nominated, because we would have given everyone an award if we could have. So thank you all so very much for being here. I'm excited to go back through this chat and read all of the many amazing comments that have come in as well. One more round of applause for all of our award winners. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.